Right, greetings, greetings, greetings. This is the Arawak Council of Xaymaca, the Califia Egg speaking, and we have Scotty with us today. Unfortunately, our Arawak youth can't be with us. He's out on the streets doing recon and research. Now, basically, what we're going to be doing today is having a look at this book, Jamaica at the Colonial and Indian Exhibitions, really because we wanted to go into talk about how important those exhibitions were for selling the new colonial lands to Europe and beyond. This had a lot to do with how the immigrants actually came in and were able to take over our properties and take over the land. So before we go into the book, what I wanted to do was just have a quick chat about expos. What we know them today as exhibitions, they were then known as world fairs. They're really designed to showcase achievements of nations. They vary in character and they're held in different parts of the world at a specific site for a period of time, ranging usually from 3 to 6 months. So this one is actually about Jamaica and how Jamaica was represented at the London exhibition. And what we're going to do is we're just going to have a look through the introduction. Small book as it is, it's a real gem. And myself and Scotty, my partner, will be going through some of the information with you guys today. So welcome, welcome.
Yes, just to say big up everybody.
All right, I have to just change my page really quickly, so bear with me as I say hi to everybody. Greetings, Libra Sun, bless up Sister Bethy, Gretchen Helm, the Business Artist Group. Who else have we got? Let's just scroll up a little bit, make sure I can say hello to everybody. Atom Cheveo. And that's it, I think. Alton Warren, yeah, I see you, Alton. Big ups. Thank you for being here. Wayne Moses is there as well. So thanks a lot. Oh, okay. Greetings, Atoms. Good to see you. Good to see you. So we're going to run through the book now. As I say, it's a gem. Really because of the types of words that are used, and again highlighting the fact that do we really understand English? All right. We ready? Is King Ra in there as well? Okay, I have to scroll right down here. So Nighthawk, yeah, Nighthawk is there too. Turtline and Niji. Pat Geese. Greetings and blessed. It's brilliant to see you all. Thank you. While we go through this, I think it's a brilliant book actually, because we've come across some great information also about what actual Jamaicans or Xaymacans actually called the island, rather than what the colonizers called the island. So we're going to be doing quite a few shows to run through this book. As I said at the beginning, we are the Arawak Council of Xaymaca. Basically, what we're going to be doing is putting down our evidences to show that the government that's currently operating has no jurisdiction. We are the original Arawak Indians. We've always been here, and we will be putting out our evidences as such. I think Scotty might have a few things to add to that as well.
Well, yeah,
Oh, okay.
Just go ahead. Just go ahead.
Yeah. Do you want me to? Yeah. Sorry about the music, guys. I'm not really quite sure what happened there. Do you want me to go through the council again and what we're about? Yeah. The Arawak Council of Xaymaca is a group of Aborigine Xaymacans who know that our heritage is based on this island, always has been based on this island. And we are here to put out our evidences and information to show you that's the sorry, let me take that. Tripped over my tongue there. Sorry about that. We're going to be showing our evidences by looking at the news, critiquing politicians, and going through historical documents, pretty similar to the document we have today, showing how Jamaica has actually always been for sale. from the minute they landed, it was always for sale. It was never about setting up any policies or instruments that were there to kind of help us in any kind of a way. It was always about making trade freely available and contracts freely available for foreigners. And so that's basically us. And that's, as I say, there's myself, Califia X, Scotty, and Arawak Youth, who's not with us at the moment because he's doing some research on the types of problems we have down here with abuse in families. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Well, what it is, the Chronicle is a news media. Yes, the Chronicle is called a Tribal Chronicle, and it's actually a news media. We've decided to put forward for people, researchers, business people, whatever it is, they can use that platform as an extra voice to couple with the council.
So as you're putting your research materials out, if you want to put your materials on the Tribe Up Chronicles, then you're going to be able to, because it's about having one place where you can go to access our information, because we realize a lot of new people are coming. If they're coming to the streams right now, because we're so far ahead with what we know, they're often quite confused. But it will be easy for them to go in on the site, see what happened in January of this year, February of this year, December of last year, even once we start to put everything into the categories. But they're going to be able to go back in and pick up that information very, very easily and be able to catch up in lots of ways, rather than feeling when they come into the chats and they're asking lots of questions, we're going to be able to direct them, or they're going to be able to find it very easily. We can see YouTube is changing, lots of new rules. Brother Sanchez, Sly have all been demonetized. We don't know how long we've basically got on here. So I think it's really important for all of the content creators to have a site that they can upload their information, and there's a place for all of us, regardless of whether we're on the islands or the mainlands. We can go and just pick up information willy-nilly.
Just to say, like Carmen, yes, it's actually based on factual information.
Yes.
So yeah. If you're alive at any stage, and the information in that live if you didn't hear it, you might be able to go to the Tribe of Chronicles and pick it up there. So that's what it does, basically.
I don't know if Mr. Brown can see his chat. I can see the chat, and we've got Chuck Jackson and North Indian Wolf in the building, Jav Hawa in the building, and we said the Business Artists Group. And who? Chuck Jackson? Oh, sorry, Chuck, I didn't see you there. Greetings. Great to see you here, kin folks. So it's really good. Oh, right, okay. Yeah, a little about me. Born in Xaymaca, but left when I was about 7, and not quite part of the Windrush generation. My parents left slightly later, but still in my area, the only one. I think it was Sister Bethy, when she was talking the other day about that being the only one of 300. I totally related to that. I've pretty much been like that throughout my life, my growing life. The 1 or 2 in my class, 1 in my street, that type of thing. So, and I come from that generation where, my father was very much, when in Rome, you do as the Romans, but you're not a Roman. So I lost the accent, but my heart was always in Jamaica. So educated there. I'm now educated in the UK. I lived in the suburbs, actually. I didn't even grow in London, so there was even less of us out there. And my son, though, grew up in London, and I'm now back home. Still a bit of a culture shock, because even though you come back on holiday and you experience Jamaica, Xaymaca, you experience all the beautiful things about Xaymaca. But when you're actually here, you really start to see the political machinations and the corrupt um, dealings that go on down here, that make it really, really difficult for your normal day-to-day Zambians just to enjoy the fact that they live in such a beautiful place. You know, I've been in a taxi where a lady said if America was burning, she would still want to go, which I actually thought was sad, because who runs into a burning building? Nobody does. But this is how we've been acclimatized to really not appreciate just how beautiful our island is and how fruitful it is. And this is one of the things I'm really passionate about, to try and just get back that connection that we had with the land, and that connection that we had with each other as well, because we are very kind people, very sharing people. However, as with all things, when you have the really, really good, you can also have the really, really bad. And I'm really here to try and make a change by getting this information out, because I think by telling us that we're from Africa, it spiritually takes you away from your land, and then you have all the factories building up, which then physically takes you away from your land. So you have a double whammy with the media as well. So that.
Yes. Yes. Okay. My name's Scotty, and like I say, I was born in Jamaica, in Pint Hill, and grew up in England. Still here in this concrete jungle. You know what I mean? No trees, no birds, no sun, nothing at all. And we still move on. And my experience in England has been quite one to write about, actually. Experiencing riots and police brutality and all the other thing that goes along with living in Britain. And people in Xaymaca and people in America probably thinks it's an easy going place, but I can guarantee you it's not so. We've people in England have suffered quite a lot since the 80s. Our men and the women suffered quite a lot, and it's reflected on them now as they react through society. You can see it as they've been separated, they've been disintegrated, and told lies, corrupted with the church, and it's a long stretch of road we've traveled, a hard stretch of road we've traveled. And I think this platform is just to really try and rekindle some of the bullshit that we've lived, really. And it's all right talking about things, but the council is actually set up so we can try and do something about the whole thing. We believe in doing, not just talking about things. And I think this
Exactly.
council and everyone in the chat, big up to you all. And I hope you listen quite carefully to what we're saying, and that understand that we're going to tribe up as it goes. Yes, and
Yeah.
try to do something about the whole situation, and show people that we know niggers, losers, whatever you want to call it, and that we are the first people, the strongest people. The strongest thing on earth is the black youth.
Yeah.
It's the strongest thing on earth. And
And we
what they're
have to
doing in
support
America,
them.
what they're doing in
Hmm.
America, and what they're doing in Jamaica, killing the
Hmm.
youths.
Hmm.
That's what they're doing. They're killing the youth.
Hmm.
Talented, bright people with super brains,
And they
super talent.
psychologically kill them in
Yeah,
England.
yeah, that's right. Super brain, super talent, and we've got to do something about it. No one is going to do it for us, and that's what I have to say. And I'm
Hmm.
right here. I've back in the 80s, I used to work with an organization. We had about 2,500 members of youths, and we traveled the country. We had everything from drama clubs to photographers, and even our first radio station over here. is stemmed from that. We wrote magazines and all because we didn't have mobile phones in time. You know what I'm saying? So it's been I've experienced a long, hard road really, where I've seen it myself how the youth's been um, decimated by this system. And like I say, me and Carlene and Chad, we're going to try and do something about it. And we hope that the people in America and whoever's in the chat listening, I hope you can assist us too going forward.
By adding their support. I think one of the things is understanding social engineering, and that's one of the reasons why I really love Tribe Up, because Chief really goes into social engineering, and I don't think it's something that we totally understand, because they apply very similar methods in different countries, but the results are all the same. We're depressed, we're broken, our families are broken, and we've got a generation of children that's coming up now
That's right,
that
killing themselves.
are killing themselves, and it's sad, and it really is time for us to kind of step up and say, listen, I know Generation X might be looking at the baby boomer generation and saying, oh boy, you guys proper dropped the ball. But I think we were the ones who really experienced that upheaval of like moving to different countries. For instance, we were the first ones to get that black box and be advertised to deeply, so each generation has their set of social engineering mires to kind of deal with, if you know what I mean. But it's understanding that it's all about splitting us up and dividing us into as many small pieces as possible so that we never get together.
And one of the key factors they use for doing that is the church. The church and some of the people who are preventing us from moving forward is the people in the church.
Yeah.
The police, in codes with the police, and any information they want about the community, that's where they go to find it. And then they're not they're agents, as far as I'm concerned, agents, right? And it's about time we do something about that. And the youth's got to be the one that's going to change that. The youth must stand up to the church and say, look, you either turn this place into a school, or you turn this place into something of a dental, or something
Something that's going to value the community rather than just valuing.
or come out the
Yeah.
town. Get out the town. They get out of town, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And whether the older people wants to accept that or not, that's it's not up to them. It's the youths that's going to change all this.
Yeah, and hopefully we're going to help to give them the armor and the knowledge, because young children are usually not
I think
want
they're
of.
very knowledgeable. They're
Yep,
very, very smart, and they're very knowledgeable. They just don't have the resource to do anything. That's what the problem is.
exactly. And this is one of the things about down here, that the lack of resources.
Yeah, and we can't go to the bank and get a loan.
No, because I mean, I'll get you tired. I'll just quickly say this. That's one of the things that we discovered when we were going through this book, when we were saying about, okay, how easy is it for a Zamakan to set up a business? And although it's not expensive in, say, UK terms or US terms, it's expensive. Yes, exactly, Scotty.
Can I just ask you? Can I just ask you, when you did you check to see whether that price was dollars?
You know what? I haven't had. I've been kind of busy and I haven't. But I have a feeling that it really is Jamaican dollars. I'm praying it's Jamaican dollars, because that means then it's only £130, say.
Exactly.
But then when I checked with Thai, it's about 40. What did you say, Thai? It's about $40 and maybe about 60 something odd dollars in different places, depending on what state you are, to set up a business. Yeah, it's £12 in England.
Yeah, that's right.
How did I? For me, it was a process, to be quite honest with you, and I can't deny that I wasn't on the African tip for a while. Although it never did really feel quite right. What happens is, I think emotionally you get caught up in the emotional side of the story. And when I came, I knew things were going to change in England, and I kind of made a decision. I never wanted to stay. But I started to make plans to leave a little bit earlier than I would have done normally, and came home because everything about England is changing. All the, Jamaicans are kind of like try a ting people. We'll always try a ting because we want to improve our lives. And it gets to the point in England now where those try a ting tings, they're not working because they're just cutting every doorway that you think you could have got through a little while ago. You can't get through those doors anymore.
We don't even have a building to sit down and talk.
Exactly. I mean, all the community centres are gone. Even the pubs, if you were a pub person, are not there anymore like that. Okay, a pub is like a drinking establishment. It's called a public house, and people basically, exactly. But I think a pub has a little bit more of an old man kind of connotation. You go there after work type of thing. Still do it now, but it's called a bar nowadays. But all those sort of little social structures are gone. Even the things that used to set up for our community, because I know. In London and in Birmingham, our community is very activated in trying to keep certain things going to hold the communities together, but they're all gone. And I think Brixton is a good example of that. And sort of Clapham areas of London and Battersea, where you had that Windrush generation who bought those houses for maybe anything between 3,000 and 10,000. And when we had the first rush of money coming into property, a lot of that generation sold their property, and some of them came back home, some of them moved out into the more country areas. But there again, you saw that splitting up of the families and that gentrification that you see. It's just done in a slightly different way, And then what they do is whereas they used to help the single mothers, now they're sort of saying, oh, well, we really need your place. You have to move. And they move these single mothers into areas that are like miles away. So like, say you're in London, they might move you into the Midlands or something. You've got no support systems around you, none whatsoever. So it's almost like you're doomed to be on benefit, because even though the rent might be cheaper and everything else, the benefit is also less. Do you get me? Mm-hmm. Yes, greetings, Blue. And I did notice Ninth, warrior of the longbow. Good to say hi. Greetings to you. Empress Holbert, but greetings and bliss to you, sister. Deanna Bailey. And I don't see anybody else. I can scroll up a bit and see if there's anybody else in there. Oh yes, I see Root. Oh. Yeah, and it Root manages to upset just about everybody. But I did like the show the other night, Root, when you were showing all those buildings. That's when I really think you're on point, showing those buildings from the and because a lot of those buildings actually they used in the expos of the 1800s, and those that they couldn't destroy, they just basically or move into, they kind of let fall into some kind of ruin. But it's great to see that, because you see in America, because remember they had a series of expos across America, and Born Free talked about it earlier when he was saying about looking to Ellis Island. And what you'll notice is that around those times, look, there he is. Greetings, Born Free. I just mentioned your name. You're going to live a long time. That's what we say down here. And Judy Kerry, peace and bliss, sister. Yeah, when you check, everybody who's looking at mud floods and anybody who's looking at the expos and the star forts on YouTube, for as long as those channels are going to stay there, what you'll notice is that all the buildings that they used for the expos, they try to tell you that they built those buildings for the expos. Impossible. That was them moving into our buildings basically, and using them for the expos. And you can see that a lot of our waterways were still there at the time. Electricity was the buildings were lit up in the night time, everything. So you know, they basically took us back to the Stone Ages, and you can just see the last remnants of the beauty and the splendor that we had during, though, when you look at those pictures from the expo. And that's why I really wanted to concentrate on this book, because it was like a huge selling mission that they went on in order to bring their people over here, because the expos were around the late 1800s, and that's, you know, sorry, from the late 1700s right through to the late 1800s. And as we can see, it was during the late 1800s that we really, for yourselves on the mainland, that you had that onslaught of foreigners coming in.
I'm just saying, Carlin, it might be a good idea to drop the book in the link. What do you think?
Yeah, I can do, actually. This is a great book for everybody. Let me just
Yes.
Just me say hello to a couple of people first. I see Tim Buck, son of Papoose, greetings, and Shay Pink, greetings. Jaguar, greetings and peace and bliss to you, warrior. Let me just go on to the link, and I'll pop that in the chat for you. There's actually two books, because this one that we're going to be looking at today actually concentrates on Jamaica, but there's another book that looks into, because the exhibition was for all of the colonial world of Britain, basically. So you had the other islands, some of the other islands there as well. And I'm on the wrong page, about to drop it in back chat there, sorry. So there we go. Yeah, that's it's archive.org, great place to find resources like this. And how I actually found it was because I thought to myself, when we're looking in these old libraries and stuff, because our history is so scattered and has been written by the Dutch, by the Brits, by the French, by the Spanish, maybe we need to actually look at how they wrote our name and not the English spelling of Jamaica. So, and that was how I came across his book. I actually came across some Spanish ones, but sadly, I don't read Spanish. So if there's any Spanish people in the chat who, you know, are good at translating books, then please, by all means, let me know. I'll be quite happy to send a link to you. But what happens is you pull out information that you wouldn't ordinarily get from the normal books that we see. We did actually pull out a German book, and we've made a German contact that we're hoping she's going to be able to just scroll through it and see if there's, basically she said to us, we have your history. None of you are from Africa. Well, do you know what it is? It's because it's in that really old-fashioned writing. I don't know if Google will translate it that well, because it's written quite a long time ago. It could be a little bit of old German, if you get me.
You'll find it there at all, not in Google.
I
don't think you'll find it in Google.
The translator, no. But this again was another book on archive.org. But yes, definitely, when you're looking, try looking in different languages, because we know all the people who came, who supposedly conquered us. So when you search for these places, try looking in the language that they would have referred to us as, and that's where you're going to pull out more information. Sadly, you're going to need someone who's going to. This was the only English one that I actually found. So, you know.
Oh, it's the only English one.
This was, I found 3 Spanish books and a German book. Okay. When I tried it in Iamachia that way. Xaymaca, I didn't really come up with. Xaymaca was when I came up with the Spanish books. And then I tried, because the German lady was saying that they don't say Jamaica. It's more like a Jamaica, that they have a very soft, even though their language is quite guttural, the jar is quite soft when they say it. So that's what made me think, let me spell it a different way and see what happens. But yeah, you'll be surprised. You will come up with different information if you try spelling things slightly differently.
Has the German lady got any books in translation that you could get from it?
Well, we did have one in mind, but where I've been busy lately, I haven't had the opportunity to really talk to her and say, do you mind having a little look at this book when you've got some time, and seeing if there's anything that you can pull out that would be good for us. She is actually somebody who would be fantastic to have on, because this lady totally understands about ancestry, DNA, and again told us that ancestry DNA is actually a lot more complicated and it's very expensive. So most of the things that we see are not really what we think at all. She would have to explain it because that's her field. That's what she's involved in. But it's quite complicated. And like spitting in a tube thing, yes, it really is for entertainment purposes only, you know. But, you know, actually, to go back to 360, Ty, sorry, I did want to talk about Lakeisha, actually, when we were mentioning that our Xaymacan youth is out doing his research and looking into abuse and everything that goes on down here. And that's one of the reasons why we're very much in support of Lakeisha and the fact that you need to download Lakeisha. All of us need to have this app on our phones and our children, because you know, there's a site that, whether we want to admit it or not, the more information we pull out, all the content creators with the information they're putting out is showing us is that we are at war. The war has never stopped. It's just turned into a silent war. And we have to wake up. We really do. And we need to protect our children, because that's the next generation coming up.
That's why we need to construct our own literature.
Exactly.
And have our own media, so we know we're telling our own stories rather than people telling our stories.
Exactly. I'm just going to say hello to a few people. Big ups, P. Parker, Indigenous Coppertone Cohen, Lolly Star, Sylvia Williams. It's great to see you all here. Thank you for being here. So I don't think there's anybody else that's joined that I haven't seen. But yeah, big ups, big ups to all the sneak watchers. We love you all the same. Oh dear. Yeah, we know. Yeah, they are. They're stealing everything about us. I mean, you know, the fact that you see, one of the things why people don't understand why the church is successful, those children are clean. They're not doing drugs. They're not drinking. Ideal organ donors. I hate to say it. They're clean people. They eat clean as a general rule, and they live a clean life. So if you're going to harvest anybody, who are you going to harvest? You're not going to harvest the people that are out partying every night necessarily, drinking buckets and buckets of alcohol. You want a clean liver and a clean kidney, don't you? You know? So, exactly. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We know that.
That's probably what they rear them for.
Yeah. Want me to put this? Yeah. No, I'm going to have to look that book up, actually. I can put the link in for the book that we have right now. But I'm going to have to look that German book up. And I'm going to have to go into my history for that. So I can do that throughout the show if you don't mind, because it's going to take me a little while. But are you able to what's the word? Translate German, Blue? Because that would be fantastic.
Who, me?
But no, Blue. One of our one of our
a little bit of
our chatters. Oh, you know what? Do you? Okay.
Well, I used to work.
He's in the UK.
I used to work over there.
Oh, of course, yeah. You mentioned that. Yeah.
Sorry. Yes, you all the UK parties. Big up, Birmingham, UK. Yeah, that's where I'm at, Birmingham, UK.
Yeah, big ups. Yeah, big ups. Big ups to Croydon. Big ups to Croydon.
I know you got Aston, you got
Peckham,
Erdington, you've got Sutton Coldfield. You know, Birmingham is the biggest. Got the biggest.
Yeah, they've got the largest, because you know what? You're near that. You're kind of not far away from the ports. That's why.
Right, where Rotten Spaghetti Junction, where all the motorways.
Yeah, where the motorways are as well. Yeah.
It's actually the centre of England.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we've got like say, okay, so we've got areas in London, but I can't even really say Brixton anymore because that's not our enclave anymore. Peckham, I think, still is. Northwest London, big up everybody in Northwest London. That's another large area where we live. Let me try and think. Oh, of course, Tottenham and North London. I lived in North London for a while. Yeah, they lived over in North London. They've got their own football club. Where else? And East London, all around Leighton and Leytonstone, all those areas. I lived around there as well. I've lived in a lot of places, actually. Let me think where else I've lived that I can mention. All around Broadwater Farm area in Tottenham, lived around there. Um, Turnpike Lane areas, Hornsey areas, if we're still there. We used to Wood Green.
Yes.
Yep. Nottingham. Yep. We're all
Robin
over the
Hood, where
place. It's
Robin
just
Hood
that we're
comes from. That's where
yep.
Robin Hood come from.
That's right. Yep. Yeah, and big up. Yep.
Big up to New
Oh,
York, big up to Miami, big up to wherever you are
you've
in
got to try
America,
and think of.
Georgia.
Yep. California. Yep. What's the other one? I always get California, Carolina.
My family
Always
lives
get
in
those.
Bronx. Actually, some of my family's in Bronx, New York. Anyway, so
Yeah, I have some family up in New York. I have some family
Manhattan,
Miami side and
Connecticut.
California side as well. Yep, Tennessee. Go on, mention
Yeah,
some places. Mention some places where you're at, guys. I'll give you a shout out. I'm trying to think who. Um, so big, and of course, anybody in South
ah,
America. Let's not forget if there's anyone in South America, give them a shout out too.
okay,
Hmm.
Costa Rica.
Detroit in the house. Bliss ups Detroit. Birmingham, Washington DC. Whoa, we're coming in now. Yep, New York again.
Fantastic.
Respect, and honor. Thank you.
Big up to
DC,
Lady
Vegas in the house. Yay.
Guatemala.
Nice.
Fantastic. Tell your friends.
St. James. Okay. I'm from the hills. I'm up Manchester side. Wilmington,
Big up
Baltimore.
Wilmington.
Yeah. Wow. It's great.
Big up.
Delaware as well. Mm-hmm. Atlanta. Big up
Fantastic.
MT Soul. Atlanta in the building.
Yeah, it's
D
great to see you
Stewart.
all here. Great to see you all here listening in. It's fantastic.
D Stewart. Be more Bigfoot. I like that name. Oh,
Alejandre, big up Alejandre.
big up. Yes, big ups, Alejandre. Yeah, man. Guatemala. That's nice, man. So we're getting out there.
Minnesota.
Fayetteville, Arizona, Colfax, Bentley, Louisiana. Big
I
ups,
think the whole
Julie.
tribe's here, if you ask me.
Yeah. That's
Big up the
good.
tribe. Big up the tribe.
Yeah, man. Exactly.
Big up the
Exactly.
tribe.
So yeah, guys, spread the word. Spread the word about Lakeisha. Spread the word about the fact that we're able to start collecting. Because in fact, one of the things that we don't know if we'll have the time to talk about today, Scotty came across a council, which is really just changing in name rather than deed, that we think we need to keep an eye on because I think they've been keeping an eye on us. Is that not so, Scotty?
That's right. Yeah, they've set up a council. The Jamaican has set up a council to collect our DNA and sell it. So
Mm-hmm.
be aware of that. Now it's linked with not just Jamaica, it's linked with Britain, it's linked with America, it's linked with quite a few people across the Europe. And what they're doing, they're trying to collect all our DNA. Now you must ask yourself the question: what are they going to do with it?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to keep on their case. We're going to keep checking to see exactly what they're doing and get them before they can do any damage. They've done damage
Yeah.
already, yeah, and we can't accept any more bullshit from these people, and we must sort of rebuke them.
Yeah. They are called, I have to get my notebook out because I've got lots of notes here.
I think it's a
This
Jamaican Diaspora
diaspora,
Council.
yes, the diaspora something or another council for Jamaica.
Yeah.
And basically what they're saying is that it's really what we're doing, where we're saying, come on, guys, we need to unite because we have a big problem here. But
Yeah.
they're saying, oh, we're going to talk to all the Jamaicans in the diaspora and find out, what their concerns are. And for all this hour-long interview that we watched, where the interviewer was trying to pin this doctor down to say, well, exactly what are you going to do with that information?
Right.
He wasn't able to answer. Blue, just give me a chance because I'm kind of talking and I have to look through my history at the same time. So just bear with me. But yes, Scotty found that, and we really think that it's almost like they're watching us and they want to try and mimic or usurp anything that we might want to do. So what I can do, Blue, is when Lakeisha starts to read the book, I'll actually get the opportunity to come off the live, and then I'll be able to go through my history. And my history is kind of long because I spend a lot of time on the internet, and hopefully find that book. The only other thing that I would suggest is either going in on the archive.org and just putting in Jamaica, and try spelling it in different ways, like IAM, that way, because that was really what I tried. But I'll try and see if I can find the link for you. But this conversation was a while back, and I haven't sent her the link. Otherwise, I'd have it quite handy. I didn't just want to dare start sending her information before I'd kind of built, a relationship with her. Although she did say she was willing to take a look at some of the stuff that we had, but just basically said to us, "Hey, we know your history. You're not from Africa. None of you are." So, are we going to start reading the book about now? Let me see. Oh, yeah, Bliss Ups, Michael Brown, Harris Cheek. Who else have we got in here? I did say welcome to Shay Pink already. I think I've got everybody. Chief, Kokomo, peace, peace, peace. Good to have you in the building. I think I've got everybody. Yep, I think I've got everybody. So are we going to start looking at the book now? Oh, yes, we have. We have. Is it Laquisha reading the book, or is it Lakeisha? Lakeisha's going to be reading the book. She might have a slight Jamaican accent. We're not quite sure. She's been on holiday, so you know what it's like. Come down here for 2 weeks and you think you're Jamaican. so, so as I said, this book is a gem. It really is. We're going to read through a bit of it, and then we're going to start critiquing it, because again, it's the words that they use. And we're probably going to be going through this book in 3 sections. The next time you see anything about this book, I would imagine that it will be on here, but it will definitely be on our Xaymaca council videos, because this is where we want to push the information on the falsehoods that they've spread about us and our history, and the fact that we're African. None at all. All right. And Black Caesar, Oseo, good to have you in the building. Yep. 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 Yep.
Yes, like we say, the Tribe Chronicles is a new media that will be an interactive media, that all information and factual information will be exhibit on. Also, anyone who has information that they would like to post in the Chronicles, you can go ahead and do so. That's what it's there for. It's there for information that people need. And all types of information. Doesn't matter what type it is, as long as it's factual and it's getting to the point. So it's called a Tribe of Chronicles, and it's tribeofchronicles.com. And it's not fully up yet, but as soon as it's up, we'll let you know. So keep a lookout for it.
yeah, we'll be keeping you definitely updated with that one.
Yeah.
And we'll be keeping you updated with anything that's happening with regards to the Zamakan Council.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, 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 yep.
When practical arrangements for the representation of the colonies at the exhibition were being made, the West Indian industries were in a state of considerable depression, and it was doubtful whether any such appearance could be made as would be entirely satisfactory in itself or pleasurable to remember. But the encouragement given by His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales, who is ever ready to view with kindly consideration all the efforts towards progress made in any portion of the outlying dominions of his mother, the Queen Empress, induced the West India colonies to come to the front, and to avail themselves of that which might be truly called the opportunity of a century. The visit of the royal princes, sons of the Prince of Wales, also tended to strengthen the wish to be well represented in the old country, and when the record of that visit gave prominence to the feelings of pride in the victories of Eodney and other gallant
Are we there?
sailors and soldiers who fought for England at a time when the West
I was trying to listen to it.
Indian seas were the arena of the great nations of Europe, the desire of being recognized as having an important share in the glorious past of England became more intensified. At the same time, more practical considerations conduced to the same end. These colonies produce articles of food and luxury which the world consumes, without thinking of the places of production, the people engaged in tropical industries, and the peculiar conditions under which these
All right. Okay. So we can see already that the people who are involved in this book are actually really quite important people in that they're commissioners, honorary commissioners, esquires, so all involved in law. One of the reasons why I really wanted to concentrate on this is as we go through the book, what you're going to see is that they're really, really selling Jamaica, Xaymaca. Jamaica, the brand name, to encourage entrepreneurs or anybody really. It's like Jamaica has been for sale since they landed. It's as simple as that. And what you find with the, I need to actually just open up the page myself on the book just so that I can run through, sorry, a couple of things here, was that it's very much about trying to say, oh, you know, we're coming along and we're going to be doing something really quite wonderful in Jamaica. And there's some names here that I'm not sure if everybody's familiar with, as for instance, who is Lord Rodney? Who was the Prince of Wales at the time? I think it was Charles at the time. Sorry, because I couldn't get to see this. How did we get down to the end of the page, Ty? Was it the first chapter? Oh, we did all of the introduction. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, so basically, there you go. You've got the sort of sales pitch to say to you, yes, come to this exhibition because it's going to, if you're looking to leave, this is a great opportunity for you to leave. And as we go through it, you'll see more and more of that. I think we can go straight into when they actually start to talk about, that was actually quite quick. Did you see are you able to show the picture, Ty? Oh, fantastic. Yes. Now, I don't know if anybody's actually able to comment on this picture, because what I thought was quite interesting was the flags. Oh, the book. Sorry, I'm on the page there. I thought she'd got through all of the introduction, which takes us up to page 10, I think, which takes you to the picture where you can actually see what the stand actually looked like. Oh, it was just all right. We went to the All right, let's go into the second page then, because what you're seeing is how the mood is being set up to encourage people to come over here. So I don't want to waffle on too much about that. Let Lakeisha do her job. Do you want to read the next bit?
Industries exist to bring producer and consumer, therefore, together. To make them, if only for a time, sympathize with and understand each other. To get them to discuss their mutual obligations. And to forget the blunders and prejudices of bygone years, would lead, not only to more cordial sentiments, but to what is perhaps more important, increased and more prosperous trade. From the time that Pitt ordered a tumultuous House of Commons by crying, in stentorian tones, sugar, 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 clown, to the much changed conditions of the present time, the fortunes of the West Indies have been,
because he was the one
largely concerned with the position in the markets of the world of that article which a recent Chancellor of the Exchequer described as the delight of youth and the solace of age. The tropical plan. Ter wishes to convince his sugar-eating brother at home that the produce of the cane is infinitely superior in sweetness and nutritive qualities to the sickly stuff obtained from bounty feed beet on the continent of Europe. This understanding is likely to come about. There are other products in the West Indies besides sugar, as we shall see later on, and the mere fact of becoming acquainted, through pictures, photographs, and natural objects, with the beautiful scenery and interesting curiosities, appealing to the imagination of the general observer. The scientific thought of the ethnological student, and the large-heartedness of the philanthropist, cannot fail to widen the horizon of the insular English mind, and perhaps impress it with new suggestions of duty. Trade and commerce are, after all, the practical results of sentiment, and it is into the aspect of buyer and seller, of giving employment to English ships and English labour, and of affording outlets to English capital, that the whole question finally resolves itself. In this scene of imperial fraternization, Jamaica plays an important part. This colony has always had a peculiar interest for the people of England. Its acquisition by Cromwell, the influence upon it of the naval and military operations of the succeeding 150 years, the rise of its prosperity, the slave trade and slavery, the effect of that social revolution known as emancipation, and the hopes entertained of the upward progress of the Negro race, the peculiar exclusiveness of the old protective or colonial system, the abandonment of this, and the havoc caused by the admission into Great Britain on equal terms of foreign slave-grown sugar. The decline of the sugar industry, the forming of provision grounds, and the attention paid to the cultivation of other products, the long reign of the House of Assembly, until the riots of 1865 led to the abolition of representative government, the 18 years of Crown government, and the new elective constitution under which the colony is now placed as the result of Lord Derby's new departure. All these points constitute an historical record of no mean interest. They explain the concern felt for the colony by Englishmen in the past, and they afford a ground for a new and larger sympathy in the future. Nor, in forecasting what is to come, must we forget the likelihood of its again becoming a great entrepot of commerce when the Panama Canal, which is to unite two oceans and divert a large part of the sea traffic of the world, is an accomplished fact. Its perennial beauty and varied climate must make it in time a health resort for Europe and America, and the laureate might have had some picture of the Jamaica Hills in his mind when he wrote the following lines, which, although they may not be entirely accurate in detail, and although they miss some of the most delightful characteristics of the island, namely, its rivers, its picturesque ravines, and its many streams, may stand as a suggestion in outline of a tropical scene. The mountain wooded to the peak, the lawns and winding glades high up like ways to heaven, The slender coco's drooping crown of plumes, the lightning flash of insect and of bird jay, the luster of the long convolvuluses that coiled around the stately stems and ran even to the limit of the land. D. The glows and glories of the broad belt of the world.
Yeah, you were listening. Yeah. I'm here. Yes, you can to see Colleen. Yes. Yeah. It's okay. Sorry. Okay. 1 second. Okay. How's that now? Is that better? Okay. Yeah, you can hear it. It's I've got a delay on my line. Right. I don't know where Tarlene's got to.
Sorry, that's my mic. I didn't realise I hadn't unmuted my mic. Sorry, guys.
Let's carry on with the book. Unless there's a certain point you want to stop at, Carleen. Maybe
No, so what? The book is being read at the moment, yeah? No, no. Okay.
Feedback.
What page are we on? Are you getting feedback? Oh, I thought we were on page 10. Oh, okay, cool. Yes, because that's what I was saying, that how sugar is, you can see that they're talking a lot about sugar and the competition between the European sugar and encouraging the sugar from the Xaymaca, basically. And it's about trade. It just is about trade and setting up trade deals at the end of the day. And I think we can actually move on from that, because when it was fraternized. Imperial Fraternize has it's let me have a look here. A military sent cultivate friendship with enemy troops from 1897, used in World War One with reference to Christmas truce. Okay, so basically they're talking about a truce between themselves and Jamaicans there, Xaymacans on the island, so that they are actually able to set up these trading contracts.
Yeah,
Of course, yes. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yes. I mean, that's what they're talking about. The fact that they are wanting to set up trade with the people who were there already, who are already obviously producing sugar and producing goods already. From we can see the first page where they say that their sugar industry had gone through a bit of a depression for some reason. I would imagine that if the wars were going on as such in the Caribbean, where we know a lot of the fighting was going on, then it would have been difficult to be moving goods backwards and forwards like that. So that was probably would have affected trade to a great degree.
Well, the people there was obviously the Arawak Indians that was there. In fact, in the book they actually mention it. Yeah. Yeah, at the end of the day, I think that the Arawaks were there when they came onto the land. My question is, what I'm trying to decipher from the book is whether, because don't forget they bought about 100,000 Asians and Chinese over onto the land.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the reason for that is because when they came there, the Arawaks themselves, they tried to force them to work. for little or nothing. They
Yeah.
rebelled. This is where the fighting started. They
Hmm.
rebelled. And I think part of this rebellion is where they went and got the Asians and the Chinese to fill in the gaps where the Arawaks wouldn't do it.
Wouldn't do it, exactly. And you
So,
can see it actually on the next page,
yeah, it's not to
Mr.
say they
Brown.
didn't want to do the work, but I think they was trying to abuse them in that sense. Yes,
Hmm.
exactly.
Exactly. Yep.
And
Yep.
that's
Yep.
where the Chinese come in and the Asians came
And
in.
the Asians come in. And because actually you will
Because
see that throughout the island, that's all you're seeing is in insurgents here, insurgents there, rebellion here, rebellion there. We weren't having none of it. We
and
really
then
weren't
they
having none of it at
that's
all.
right. And then they
Yep.
that's right.
Exactly. Yep.
Exactly. And we
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So, uh, similar to the railroads, they think they have this free labor, but when it actually comes down to it, the indigenous people don't want to do it. They don't. So they have to import other
I don't think
slaves
it was
in.
that they didn't want to do it, but I think that the deal was a bad deal.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
mean.
They were
It's a
trying to
bad
abuse
deal.
them. That's right. They was
Yes.
forced them
Yeah.
to work for little or nothing, and they decided to, nah, this isn't going to happen. We're going to have a
Yeah.
fight.
Under
And that's
under.
when bring in the army and the Indians and
Hmm.
then change the names, call the Asians Indians.
Indians. Yeah.
They're not Indians. They're not Indians. And this is where they change the names.
Yeah,
And
and you can actually. What's interesting is the fact that they do call it the Indian Exhibition,
that's
and
right.
there's the Jamaican island. I think it's Barbados. There's some of the other islands that are included as well. So
Mhm.
at this point, we hadn't been excluded out of being called Indian.
That's right.
Yep,
That's right. Asian slaves
yep,
and Chinese slaves.
yep, yep. Oh, we'll definitely be going through that because what happens when you come onto the third? Yes, they're bringing the Asians in, they're bringing the Chinese in to do the work.
That's
It's
right.
like because the indigenous people, yes, the indigenous people are fighting. We're not working under those conditions that they're trying to force people to work under down here. They're saying, no, 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 we're not having any of it. So rather than improve the conditions for the people on the island, they prefer to bring in complete and utter strangers.
That's right.
Um,
And
and it,
invaded the land, basically. That's what they.
yes, yeah, yeah. But if
Yeah,
you
with the
think about
Indians.
it now, it's what's happening now in Europe. And this is why we're saying it's like a rinse and repeat, because we have exactly the same thing happening in Europe right
Exactly.
now, where you're getting a whole group of new people coming in who are coming in from countries who have gone through some kind of difficulty, some kind of war, even, and those people are unable to get work. So when they come into England or when they come into America, the money is good compared to what they could earn in their home countries.
That's right.
But for us, we can't work for that money because it doesn't pay the rent and it doesn't pay the mortgage.
It doesn't cover
But
the
for
cost.
they, exactly, but they will live 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in a room
Mhm.
and send money home.
That's right. That's right.
So we see that, and this is what I'm saying about social engineering. It's a system. And once we really get to grips with the system and how they move people around, they will cause a problem in one place in order for you to flee your land, to go into somebody else's land, to go and occupy and squat on somebody else's land.
That's right.
This is how they do it.
And they're
This
squatters,
is,
and
yeah,
they want to call us the squatters, but they're the
exactly.
squatters and
Because
thieves.
in the meantime, they're there slowly doing eugenics on the indigenous people while they're taking over their identity.
Well, they've got to maintain their status, haven't they? Because they're dying out, aren't they? So
Yeah,
they've got to integrate. Everybody's marrying whites, marrying blacks. They're pushing on the TV every day so that it's a norm and you should
this
go
is how,
along with it.
and this is how they
And
set up the
it's
caste system.
messing up the whole. And what gets me is that the women tend to be going along with it. And one thing I know about culture, right? If a culture is maintained by the woman, and if the
Yeah,
woman starts straying, and going over to the other side, the enemy, how is the culture going to maintain itself? How's it going to maintain?
Yeah.
And the problem we
Yeah.
have, that's a big problem we've got. It doesn't matter what anybody want to say about, oh yeah, you know, oh, I love this person, I want to marry this person. It's not true, because we're the only people in the world that does them kind of things. Only people.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. That'll be fine. Thank you. All right, so we're going to go on to the last page. We're just going to go on to the last bit of the introduction now. I think we've really kind of showed that this is really about trade. It's about bringing in cheap foreign labour to replace the indigenous people of the island. It's about setting up a caste system where the fairer skinned people are going to be put into positions of power. They're going to be given a status that's different from everybody else, the indigenous people of the island, where they feel some kind of privilege and are going to behave in such manners, as we will show you when we go through news items of the behaviour of politicians, doctors, nurses, everybody down here recently. So here we go. Mm-hmm.
Just to let people know that as a Jamaican or a Yamakan, or you know, we're not no push around. And hence why even when we leave our country from Xaymaca and come to England, we fight. It's the same way. We fight the police. We fight everybody, anybody, managers, wherever we are. We stand up for ourselves and we'll fight. And this is something they don't like. They don't like. That's why you see there's so much problems with the Jamaicans or the Yamacans. There's so much problems with police, because they know we don't. We fight back. We fight back.
And that's why we get the bad press.
And,
No, we're not at all. We're fighting people. That's the thing. That's why we are under attack the way we are. That's why they attack our children the way they do. That's why they traumatize us on, psychologically traumatize us on many, many levels, cutting off our electricity, cutting off our water, cutting off the phone, just doing whatever they want to us when they want. Now we're having this big argument over cockpit, and there will be a big fight for cockpit, because that's a fight for our island at the end of the day.
I mean, when I think about the cockpit, I think about Paul Bogle. It's going back to that stage again, where they're coming at you to take your stuff, and the people are saying, well, whether you got guns or not, we're still going to fight you.
Yeah.
And that's the people we are. And one thing about the Yamakan people, I tell you, we've opened the eyes of many people across the world to stand up for themselves. That's the type of people we are, to stand up for themselves. And we've carried that through our music and everything else right across the world. You know what I mean? And anywhere we go in the world and they say, oh, where you're from, say Jamaica. Oh, Jamaica. They know straight away.
They know.
And about those people over there, that's a special.
Excuse me. And just lastly, actually, thinking about the Maroon representative who spoke on cockpit, and this was something I think we all missed, actually, which is quite serious, where he said, if they are going to be mining in the area, that is a declaration of war. And what I have noticed since he said that is the surrounding areas, i.e. one of the areas where my auntie lives, which is on the borders, they have intermittent phone service. All the areas like Trelawney that are surrounding the areas that are being contested, there's a lot of trouble and a lot of killings going on down there. So we need to wake up. We really do.
Killing the youths, actually.
Yeah, because it's the children that, and we're going to fight for it. We've always fought for our land.
If a war started at the cockpit tomorrow, I'll be over there. I'll be over there. I'll be in there as well. That's how serious I am, because I think we've taken enough of the bullshit. And,
exactly. Because even the Yankunkun was saying that they've been noticing strangers kind of like trying to encroach on the land and stuff like that.
We need to get rid of the Chinese and the friggin' Indians out of the land. Yeah,
the whole government, because they have no jurisdiction. They don't. And we're going to be showing you that they have no jurisdiction. They don't have any jurisdiction whatsoever.
A lot of people don't realise that there's two governments in Jamaica. There's two governments. There's one where the Maroons control, which are the Arawaks. And Maroons are the Arawaks anyway. Don't let anybody fool you. They are the Arawaks. And
Yes.
Maroon is a name that was given to them by the British. It just
Mm-hmm.
means they can't find them. They can't get them. They can't
Yeah.
find them. The Maroon in
Because
the hills.
they were up in the
It's not-
hills. That's right.
Exactly. That's what
And
they
when
were
you
doing.
read that the island was still heavily jungle, like what would you would call like a jungle. It was very, very densely treed and everything. They weren't going to be coming up the mountains like that for us, like that.
And that's how
They
they
might
would
have
recruit
captured
them.
some of the coastal areas, but they're not coming up into the hills like that.
That's right. So
That's how you know, because Cockpit is not really mapped out the way the rest of Xaymaca is. You know, so yeah, it's hills and mounds, gully, hill, gully, hill, gully, hill, gully. That's all we have here. So they weren't able to come into the island the way they say they were and say they enslaved everybody. What they've done is a paper genocide on us.
Yes.
They fluoridate our water. They put in atrazine, all kinds of stuff in our food. Nestle is a big company down here, and we know already that there are certain things. If you look up Cinemax, look into Cinemax and the what's in those additives. We've got a lot of that down here. Sweet food, cheap food, which isn't really that cheap, really, because as I say, they're taking people spiritually and physically away from the land. So people think that there's nothing here, but actually things are always growing here, always.
You know, and it's very, very closely linked to America, because don't forget, in Yamaka, you've got what do you call it? The Grand Canyon is in Jamaica as well. There's a place called Grand Canyon, and there's a Grand Canyon in America, and that these waters, I think, they link. In some way.
They probably do.
The only thing I want to say here, my grandmother told me that I'm an Arawak Indian, my grandmother. And as far as I'm concerned, this is one question I always ask people. If we came from Africa and they put us in Jamaica, why doesn't anyone on the island speak African?
Yeah.
Nobody speaks African.
Thank you.
No one at all. It's never heard. Nothing at all.
And it's not even like there's any what would be remnants of the language, but there aren't.
Common names such as what? The places, the towns?
Or people. Our names can be quite similar to American names, actually.
Same thing. We are Central American. We come from Central America.
Well, I've got Sean's in my family. Let me try and think of some names.
Dwayne.
You know what?
I've got Dwayne Lang. I've got Brown. There's Lewis. There's Charles. There's all of them. You name it, they're there. You know? And nobody. Sorry. Daylon.
That's a very unusual name, Ty. I don't think I'm not saying it's not down here though.
I know that one.
Yeah, it's an unusual name. I'm not familiar with it, but yeah.
Like I say, you know, the slaves were the Indians. They bought the Asians. They bought on the ships, and the Chinese they bought on ships. Them was the slaves, not us.
Yeah. And as you go through the book, you'll actually see it, because there was a time when the King of England made those people over there free denizen. And when you look up what denizen mean, it basically means it's all connected with the sesquivee, where they've taken away your property, they've taken away your gold, they've taken away your property, they've taken away your land. So there really isn't anything left. So they're saying, oh, okay, we've taken everything away from you, so we're allowing you to go into other countries and be able to get rights and privileges when you go to that other country. Because that's basically what happened. Because I think it was either the Chinese or the Asians, when they got here, one of the first things they did was to set themselves up a society. Why? So that they're then able to start lobbying for their rights and privileges.
Well, they just used their names. That's all they did.
Yes.
And get our resources. That's what they did. They do it in England. It's the same thing. The Asians, they're not Indians, but they're Indians, and they get all the resources. They get funding from the government and everything else. And yet we're there. We can't even open the flipping little Saturday school.
Yeah.
You know, they couldn't close it down.
Yeah. Because this is the thing, because when we were saying, when we looked at how much it costs to actually start a business, then it's actually beyond. When you think that a teacher probably gets 150,000 for the month, so 20, 30,000, you know, I'm not saying they couldn't save up for it, but all the other things that go with setting up a business, that definitely takes that out of the reach of the majority of Xaymacans, which is why you find that we have this kind of higgler culture down here, where people, because people will walk and sell their bits and pieces because it's the easiest way. But I'm sure if there was a way for them to be able to do it, and where it wasn't so difficult to get a license or set yourself up in business, because you see it all the time.
It's just that the government don't give a toss about the people who live there. Don't forget, it's a corporation, so they're only in there for what they can get. And
Exactly.
what I was trying to say to you before, don't forget there are two governments in that region. There's two governments. Moors got their own government with their 32 member council. And my argument is, right, of all these crap that's going on in Jamaica, you have to separate yourself from the so-called Jamaica, right?
Yeah.
Corporation. And I think the Moors should really tribe up together. All these Arawaks should tribe up together as one, reform their council and take on the Jamaican government and run them into the sea.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. Take that back. Take it back then. Okay, I'll give you a boat to go in the sea then.
Well, the thing is, we want to challenge the jurisdiction that they say that they have, because as I said, when you go back historically and you look at documents and you look up the instruments that they've set up, it's basically statutes, which are not law, policy, not law. You know, it's that false legalese that they have put on top of us, which we are actually challenging. So yes, you know, verbally, we're going to run you into the sea. That's because we're challenging your jurisdiction. We're challenging, we can see now that they have no jurisdiction and they have no power. That's why we've got to the level of corruption that we've got to, where you can have people just dipping into the cookie jar. We've got the RADA scandal at the moment. And then we just had a scandal the other day with that huge fraud where the courthouse just strangely burnt. So, you know, they know that they have no clout. They're not able to do what they want to do if they do want to do anything good with the money that actually is there. Yeah, we've got a cross between Pirates of the Caribbean and cowboys and Indians, because you in a situation down here where if you see a crime and you go and report it, there's always the possibility that the very police that you've reported it to are then going to go and tell the person who committed the crime.
Well, I mean, that's true.
This is the situation we are in down here.
Yeah. And, you know, yes.
Oh, good. That's good to see. American Arawaks. Good to see you, American Arawaks. Big ups. Good to see you in the building.
Big up,
Miss Seeker of Truth. Big to see you. KSR. Good to see you.
Great to see you.
Good to see you in the house. Yes, it's great to see you. I can't see everybody. I did say big ups to D Stewart already. How's Star Arawak? Big ups, big ups. Purple Ice. Good to see you. Oh yes, Star Arawak. Yes. We're just in the process. Yeah, we're just in the process of setting up. I haven't quite got my email sorted out yet. I will do soon, guys. I promise. If anything, I'll pop it in the description box afterwards. You know, it's because we're seeing all these things that are happening that we decided that this is what we need to do. We're going to be very serious about it. We're going to be
great information for you as well. Great information. Great media.
Yeah, we're going to be coming out with information.
That
because
you don't have to go and hear it from second place. You know, you can hear it live and direct here. And we've got the Tribe Up Chronicles, new media, interactive media, and that will be coming out very soon. We haven't got any contact details for you at the moment because we're still in the process of building the information and getting all the information. It'll be a site and a platform for anyone with good information, logic and factual information to post their information on the Tribe Up Chronicles.
And source documents as well.
People contacting us and interacting with us and making it something to be proud of.
Yeah.
We all should use it and try to make the best of it.
The last section of the book? Yeah. I think I'll just wind it up. Thanks.
Turning from these general considerations to a few words of practical explanation, it is necessary to state how the Jamaica people carried out their wish to be represented at the exhibition. The legislature necessarily had to vote a certain sum of money. The exhibits were collected in the island and forwarded by the Institute of Jamaica, an admirable and well-managed society, established by law, and one of whose duties it is to provide for the holding of exhibitions illustrative of the industries of Jamaica. It has charge of the museum, and indeed carries out the functions of the former Royal Society of Arts and Agriculture, which exercised much influence in its time. Cordial assistance was also given in the collection of exhibits by Mr. D. Morris, himself a governor of the Institute, as well as the head of the Botanic Gardens. This gentleman is now the Assistant Director of Kew Gardens, and, since his recent arrival in England, has taken much interest in the court. On April 10, 1886, I was appointed by His Excellency Sir Henry Norman, the Governor of the colony, with the concurrence of the Jamaica Institute, to the important office of Honorary Commissioner for Jamaica at the Colonial and Indian Exhibition. I have gladly devoted much time to the arrangement of the exhibits sent from the colony and others collected by me in England, and, when not present myself, have always had a representative in the court to give explanations to visitors. On May 1, the Prince of Wales paid an official visit to the exhibition, and in examining the Jamaica court, His Royal Highness expressed himself as highly satisfied with its appearance. The Queen, upon her visit on May 21, was also graciously pleased to express her interest and approbation. Subsequent to the arrival of the exhibits from the colony, there came a large number of copies of the handbook compiled for the governors of the Jamaica Institute by Lawrence E. Python A. C. Sinclair, compilers of the official handbook of Jamaica. Accompanying these were copies of a detailed catalogue of all the articles sent for exhibition. These papers, so full of valuable information in regard to
okay, cool. So we didn't say much about the picture. I don't know if anybody had the chance to really look at the picture, because I found those flags in the picture quite interesting, actually. Or have we got to the picture yet? I might be. Yeah. It's nice one, because that picture. I don't know if Ty is. I don't want to be awkward. Are you able to flip it round at all, Ty? Oh, brilliant. Thank you.
What page is the picture on?
It's actually on page 10 or 11, I think. It's on the right-hand side. Because what I found interesting when I first looked at it was that I've got it open here, actually, hopefully. It was all these different flags, because there seemed to be something looking a bit Moorish on there. The star was there. You can't. No, don't worry then. Don't worry. Yeah. Oh, and that's what I meant. That's what I forgot to say, actually. I kind of got it wrong. You can actually find us on YouTube. I've just started the channel today, so hopefully it should be up and running by tomorrow. And that's the Arawak Council of Xaymaca. That's where we're going to be uploading our our videos and our information on the news, politicians' behaviour and things that's generally happening, and history, of course, as well, happening down here, how it all relates to today.
And don't forget, anyone wants to get involved, you get involved as well.
We have to speak a bit muffled there.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Say that again, what you said.
Yeah, I was just saying that anyone who feels that they can assist or help or add to the information, please go ahead and do so. Yeah,
and we've got our Xaymaca youth correspondent who's not with us today, as I said, doing some research. He is going to be looking at the abuse that we suffer, that the children suffer down here, which I think is really important to look into, because a lot of times, yes, it is connected with the church. Oh, okay. Let me go back and see. Yeah, this would be the stand that Xaymaca had at the show. It's not actually showing that it's flipped on mine, but it doesn't matter. If anybody gets the opportunity to flip that picture and just have a look at those flags, because I'm really unsure. Oh, there we go. There we go. Nice one. I'm just on a bit of a delay. Yes, we can see as we kind of move along the picture, these look to me as if they're the George's cross at the top on where Jamaica is. That just looks as if that's some kind of a cross going on there.
Star of David.
You think it's the Star of David?
Yeah, at the end. Have a look at the end, towards the top end. You'll see Star of David. Is that correct?
Yeah, see, that's what I was saying. I could see all these different symbols in the picture.
As well. You need to blow it up, really.
Okay.
Quite a few information there, isn't it, really?
I mean, there's a lot there. Just that picture alone, actually, because obviously it's showing you a lot of goods. It's also showing you the type of products that we had here. As far as craftsmanship is concerned, it lists it in the book as well. But again, I was saying with the flags, there was definitely something going on that's a little bit unusual, because if you look to the top, to the left, you'll see the star on that black flag that's coming down there. Can you see that? You see, so that made me wonder what that was representative of as well. So, and one of the things I found really difficult to find is who were the people who were like in our General Assembly at the time, you know.
Well, but you can see the Royal Highness is there as well. So the Royal Highness has been mentioned as well there. So what's to say, on the 1st of May, the Prince of Wales paid an official visit to the exhibition.
Yeah.
Examining the Jamaican court, His Royal Highness expressed himself.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So these are
being visited on May the 21st as well.
Yeah. You see, so he would have been coming obviously to talk to and try and coerce the indigenous people into getting involved in this new enterprises that they're trying to set up down here, or to, I would say, the sugar market. If the sugar market was going through some form of depression, they would have been trying to invigorate that again. So, and that's what this is all about. This is what we noticed with the first 3 pages, that they have a kind of a romanticized idea of Jamaica, but they're still saying, oh, if you're a botanist, it doesn't really matter what your skills are, you're going to be able to do something good down here.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. Yes, possibly, yeah.
Alligator where?
At the top of the, yes, very much so. That looks like an alligator at the top.
Yes.
Of those, what we said was the Star of David. But if anyone's got the opportunity to really look through it and add some comments, then yes, it is a pineapple. It does look like a pineapple. We weren't sure if it is a cross or a Star of David, Torok. Big ups. Good to see you. Good to see you here. Yeah.
It could be even some reference to the picture.
Yep. No, never, no slaves, never slaves. They were just, this is all about employment and contracts. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. No, we weren't happy at all. We were always fighting. That's the thing. And that's one of the things you'll notice, regardless of whether you're looking at the way we're studying history or whether it's the English or the Brits telling you about history. One of the things that they would tell you that we were always fighting, always fighting, always. I mean, it would be up to the point where we fought for our independence, even though we understand it's not exactly what we thought it was, but we were always fighting, always. We never stopped fighting. Yeah, yeah. It's as they say. It's as they set up the caste system, isn't it? As they set up the caste system, then you get that. Yep. Go on, Mr. Brown. You was going to say something.
I was saying, yeah, we see it working very well in England, and then everywhere else you go, you see the same thing operating. They try to breed us out, so to speak. They dumb the men down, they dumb them down, they dumb the women down, they stress. I mean, we all suffer from stress and all sorts of depression because of the continuous battering that we've been getting from people, And
that's one of the things. Depression is very much in our community, actually.
Yes, it's got to come to a head. A lot of people are suffering from depression and can't communicate properly, and all kind of shit going on. You know what I mean? And like I said to you, Colin, back in the 80s when they locked up all 80% of men.
Yeah.
Men, they locked up all 80% of men, and then left the women to fend for themselves. That caused a lot of situation problems with the youths. Yeah. That's how we got docile and ended up in prisons. A lot of them ended up in prison. Now that some of them was including the riot, where the riot was a pressure point. Everything, the pressure cooker, it just blew up, and it blew up all over the country. And there's many hundreds of men they're locked up in jail, and the women had to grow these 5-6 kids up by themselves. And now today we hear about knife crime, people shoot themselves. That's the reason why it's reconstructed to happen that way. Not only that, the people who went to jail in the 80s, they changed your application systems for employment. It was saying that if you've been to jail, you can't get work. And that has affected the black men all over since that time. They can't even get jobs. And if they do get a job, they pay them minimum wage where you can't look after your family anyway. Slavery money. So we've got all these things to contend with. And then, putting salt in a wound, they then spoke about the Windrush. The Windrush. The old people who's been here all their lives, worked and helped build the country from the last World War, from 1948, told them to piss off out their country.
Thank you.
Now, you don't see them telling anybody else to come out their country. But why us? Separated us, put us aside, and even today, they're still putting people back on the planes and sending them back to Jamaica.
Yeah,
even
they
people who wasn't even born there.
I was just about to say they're even sending people over here who were not born here.
Once a week, there's a plane load of Jamaicans going back.
In the last 10 years, just from America alone, 20,000.
Yes.
That's 2,000 a year being exported back. When I say back, it's not really back, because the majority of them are not born here. And you know something, as someone who has come backwards and forwards all the time, I went through a culture shock. So somebody who is grown up in America or grown up in England and come here, I feel sorry for them. I really do.
Well, I'm going to say something. Why do you think there's so much shooting going on?
Yep.
That's probably got a lot to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Not part of the politician. And don't forget, they get paid $20,000 to take each person back.
Each person, and that they're not benefiting at all from that money. There you go.
£20,000 for each person deported. That's what
Yeah.
the politicians get in Jamaica, and they do nothing
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Well,
And
sounds like your baby's saying, "Daddy, I need you." Yeah.
okay.
So the council, these are the things we're going to be looking at. We're going to be looking at the problems down here. As I say, we're going to be challenging the jurisdiction. We've got the First Americans Declaration, which we're going to be putting on the site, definitely, and the historical information as well, because it all links in with what's happening today. That's the thing. There's no difference. There's no difference at all. It's just called something else. That's all. The more we understand English and delve down into what these words mean, what their legal meanings are as well, we will have a better understanding of exactly our position and how and what we can do to fight this.
That's right, and we'll be reinforcing that with the Tribe Up Chronicles
Yes.
interactive media, which will be the catalyst in some of these positive information and positive vibes from the community.
Yeah.
To let people hear their voice and to give them a platform to express themselves.
And through Lakeisha, we'll also be supporting each other, and we'll be supporting our children as well.
That's right. And the youth. Don't forget the youth.
Exactly. And the youth, well, when I say children, there are children. It doesn't matter. They could be 50. If you had them, they're still your children. Do you get me?
Well,
so, but you know what I mean.
Youth, and I try to talk to them all the time, and I just feel sorry for some of them sometimes. The trouble is, you know where things are coming from, and you can see where they're going.
Yeah.
And these kids at school, and they have a little tiff with their friends in the class, and before they know it, they're suspended, and they're at home, and then the fight continued from out the classroom back
on the
into the streets. And what's going to happen? They're going to pull a knife and pull a gun. So they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing.
And it's just another way of demonizing us as well as a community. Oh, look, they can't even behave themselves,
It's all over the TV, isn't it? Knife crime, black youth killing themselves. Don't tell you about other people knife crime, which is many knife crimes with other communities. But they don't tell you that. They're just going to force the issue on us.
Exactly. All right. Yeah, we'll wind up now. Thank you very much. Big ups to everyone in the chat. Thank you for coming along. And
it's fantastic to hear from you guys and see you guys in the chat and your comments. We look at all your comments, and we just want to say thank you very much. And we hope to see you guys again.
Definitely hope to see you when we get get our channel going, which my brain has just gone into brain fog. Sorry, Arawak Council of Xaymaca. Join us there when we're going to be putting up more videos about Xaymaca, the political situation here, and our historical situation as well. So look forward to seeing you all there. Tribe up, tribe up, wise up, rise up.
We might delve a little bit more into that book just to see if there's any more juicy bits.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we're definitely going to be going into the history because we saw some good bits that we can just critique and challenge and talk about in the history part for sure. And the agricultural part is excellent because there's parts in there that talk about the fact that we had two types of rubber here. We had a hemp that we produced particularly for bowstrings. So there was industry here. There was just no doubt about it.
I used to cut the rubber trees and capture birds on there. We used to roast.
Yeah, there you go. So easy way to catch dinner.
So there's so much things there you see that people is unaware of. Beautiful,
exactly. Special place. Yep, and we'll be telling you all about it. So
in the world, somebody knows about Jamaica. If you come sometimes and you say Barbados, they say where about is Barbados? A lot of people don't know, but they know where Jamaica is.
Exactly. All right. So thank you very much, everyone in the chat. Thanks for joining us today, and I hope to see you all soon. Yes, big up Wanagi, feathers up, tribe up, wise up, rise up.
Main things, the tribe up.
Yep. All right. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lakeisha from the Lakeisha Network. I am here to remind you to go to your Google or Apple App Store Simply type the word LAKESHA and then search to install and download the Lakeisha Alert app to stay up to date on my new superior features. Subscribe to my YouTube page, opening up your app and clicking menu. Click on the About Us tab. Try to get familiar with my software and also teach it to your loved ones. And get your household familiar with my information. It will be useful in the future. You're welcome in advance. Hi.